the whole Ghana's cocoa story and Africa's industrial future, using Ghana's cocoa as a case study. We know the cocoa farms are there. We know our farmers work so hard. We have a cocoa marketing company, a cocoa board that sets the price, pays them. And then the next thing we know, we are buying chocolate. The whole value chain seems to be something that is not controlled entirely by us. But we have somebody who can really help us understand how the beans move to become brands. And to help me welcome the MD of Ghana Cocoa Processing Limited UK, Fuad, Mohammed, to do a presentation. I've been looking for you. So this is made in Ghana.
Yes, there's a niche chocolate brand.
But that's not yours.
What did you say? This is made in
Ghana, yes.
by Ghana beans.
Beans, okay.
Yeah, so anything made from Ghana beans is
okay. So
through the Ghana
you said a question. I want you to give it to somebody. So ask a question and then we'll hand it over to somebody. A cocoa question.
Okay, so this is the. I have to give a joke first.
Okay.
So they currently having the Miss Ghana UK pageant, and the theme for this year is on cocoa, past, present, and the future. And I watched a video where young, intelligent, beautiful ladies were asked, who brought cocoa to Ghana? Kwame Nkrumah. So that was the answer in the video. That's what I mean.
Oh.
So she said Kwame Nkrumah. Now you've answered Tetakwashi. Which town was the first cocoa seed planted?
In Ghana.
In Ghana. And the winner gets this bite of chocolate. Okay, so
somebody said Mampong.
Someone said Mampong. Someone said Ekuapem.
Ekuapem
Mampong. Okay, so Nana, so who should I give it to?
Whatever. There was
I think Nana would love for it to go to his daughter. Oh, okay, all right. So then that's it.
Okay, so come for the chocolate.
Yes, please. Oman for 4. Okay. No, that's okay. There's a mango milk chocolate. Thank you, and thanks so much, Nana.
All right, so far over to you.
So good morning once again. Good morning, I would say. Often when a very insightful presentation precedes yours, it makes, ideally should make your job a bit difficult, but it makes it much easier. Because the expectation from you is then a bit too high, then you also intentionally underperform. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay. So we've had a lot of narratives about the role of the government and what private sector should do. And the challenge for us here, we sit here in the UK. The UK is the second largest chocolate market in Europe. It's the third largest chocolate market in the world. So I'm setting that context. For us to appreciate the opportunity we have as private people, now our job is to, one, understand the opportunity that the chocolate value chain presents to us. Grab the opportunities. And intentionally, I think that is a word that they re-echoed. We lack intentionality. I'm going to show you what someone or other people who sit here in the UK as Ghanaians or Africans have done with Ghana's cocoa. And that is to tell us that we can do it. It's not just about we being able to do it, but to let you understand the value that we have, that even other countries are taking advantage of that and building industries with that. Nana, the topic you gave me, I mean, it's so huge. So, but I've tried to simplify it with a lot of images. Paul, are you the one who's controls it? Okay, that's fine. So, we are at the African Week UK. So you want to understand, okay, where does Africa sit when we talk about cocoa. Please, if I'm blocking any part of the screen, let me know. Which side should I? It's better. Okay, that's fine. We want to understand where Africa sits when it comes to the global cocoa sector. So this is a visual just to indicate who dominates that space. As you can see to the right, out of all agri-food export out of sub-Saharan Africa, cocoa contributes 40% of that value. Out of all agri-food export, not out of Ghana, but outside from sub-Saharan Africa, 40% of it is cocoa. Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire commands nearly about 60% of global supply. West Africa, nearly about 70%, with about 2% coming from Eastern and Central Africa. So you've got Tanzania, some Congo, Uganda, and others also producing cocoa. But this is just to show you that Africa controls 70%, the Americas are doing about 20%, then about 6% for Oceania. And Nana highlighted trade, because trade is the engine of prosperity. And in the chocolate space, we need to understand the global trade flows. Where does the cocoa move from and where does it destined to? Now to the left side, you have the export origins. And I intentionally did this visual to indicate that. So from the top, what we have mentioned is that top-ranked cocoa beans exporters. For beans exporters, you have Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Ecuador, Nigeria, and others. So you have just Belgium because of a lot of transshipment going from Africa to Belgium, then being shipped again to other European countries. But these are low-value products because it's raw beans. When it comes to the most valuable products, what we call cocoa butter, the largest exporter is the Netherlands. The price of cocoa beans is about 6,000 now. The price of cocoa butter is about 16,000. So we are shipping 6,000 to someone to process it less than $1,000 a ton to do the processing and sell at 16,000. That is why they are generating more value than us. When it comes to the chocolate sector, we also have countries like Germany, Belgium, Canada, Poland, who are the largest chocolate exporters globally. Now, how do we change this narrative? Okay. So to do that, the trade flow of chocolate only. So what I did in the previous slide was to show you cocoa beans, cocoa products, as well as chocolate. We've zoomed it to chocolate only. And that is what I want you to see from this side. Out of 61 billion of cocoa and chocolate preparation movements from country to country, chocolate, which is either easy to consume or ready to be molded or melt into other chocolate forms, is more than half of it. The space within which we play as local champions is 9 billion. And that is what we share for all the cocoa producing countries globally. Butter, we saw that. So they will see another slide. When it comes to butter, we don't dominate. African countries don't dominate, or producing countries don't dominate. Where the value is nearly about over 40 billion, out of the 60 billion trade flow is controlled by consuming countries. Now we sit in a consuming country. So how do we take advantage of our position? Okay. I think I've shared this slide regularly, and it communicates something. The chocolate industry is valued around 150 billion US dollars. As producers, what we make out of it is a combination of this and that. Just about 10% of it. And the dominant players here are not even producers like Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, but trading companies who are largely seated in Amsterdam or in Singapore. So we are sharing 10%. That's 15 billion out of the $150 billion industry. The retailers who don't touch cocoa beans, they don't manufacture chocolate. The Aldis, the Tesco's, the Walmarts, they command over 40% of the chocolate value. Manufacturers, Nestle, Lindt, these are the ones who make chocolate. Barry Callebaut, they make about 35% of the global value. The point I want us to understand is that global trading systems have changed so that irrespective of your scale, you can also take advantage of that 40% space. And we will see that because that is what other people have done. Some Ghanaians have done seated here in the UK, and we're showing that you can also do that. Oh, I think we can skip the slide. I don't know. Thank you. Okay. Do you love these pictures? I love it as well. I got it 2 days ago. It is not AI. Okay, this young, I don't know her name. She's part of the Miss Ghana UK pageant. And their theme, as I indicated, is on cocoa. So they approached us and we gave them some amazing Ghanaian cocoa and chocolate products. And this is what they came out with. So I sought their permission that in every presentation I'm going to make, I need to show these things. Now, these are chocolate products that are made in Ghana. We've got the Fair Afrique, we've got the Golden Tree, which we all know when it comes to the UK, it's a pa. Okay, so we've got the Golden Tree brand, we've got the Royale. So these are cocoa products. These two brands have been made in Ghana since the 1960s. But why are they not marketed here? Do we expect those from Ghana to come and do the marketing here? No. As business people, we need to take advantage of that. People bring in even contumely fresh, chopped and refrigerated. Why are people not bringing this here? Are there restrictions to bring it previously? Yes, now no. No. In terms of quality specifications, it meets the generic standard to import into the UK. Labeling requirement, it does meet that. You don't need to go beg the Tesco's, the Aldis to put it on their shelf. You can sell it on e-commerce. You can sell this on Amazon, you can sell this on Etsy, you can sell it on eBay, you can sell it on a lot of other platforms. And these are trade or commerce that you can do in your bedroom. Let's grab that. Paul. Okay. Now I shared this is an amazing story of a young Ghanaian who had worked in the financial sector in the UK, traveled to Ghana for tourism, and he got locked by COVID. This is what he has come up with. Now, do you know where to find this product? For the first time in the history of Ghana, we've got a single origin Ghanaian chocolate, not in Tesco, Aldi, it's in UK's luxury shops. Fortnum and Mason. Was the chocolate made in Ghana? No. Was it made from Ghana beans? Yes. That is a narrative that we need to change. We don't have to be fixated with that approach that it needs to be done in Ghana for it to be brought here. It will be difficult for you to compete with those chocolate from Cadbury, from Lindt and others. You are here, this is your space. At the end of the slide, I'll show you exactly what strategy you can adopt in simple words. But this is what someone has done. At the moment, when you get to Terminal 5, it's there. It's heading off to Singapore in the Fortnum and Mason shop, in Hong Kong, sorry. Boldly marketing Ghana. And I always say, the former High Commissioner, you say that my brooch is bigger than everyone else. And I say, yeah, because I believe in Ghana. I think Ghana has been grossly undersold. And not by other people, but unfortunately by us. And that is what we need to change. Paul, this is another chocolate bar made here in the UK using Ghana beans and proudly marketing Ghana. Bullion. I think they are opening a new shop around Tower Bridge next week. So anyone who want to pass by can just go and grab a bite. I didn't say free because you're from Ghana, but at least you have that affiliation. Okay. So this is something that can be done here. How to do that, I'll mention that in the last slide. Paul? Now this is a chocolate bar. Can someone, I don't know if I still have a, oh, Japan. Okay, so there are Japanese here. So there's a chocolate brand made in Japan. It's the most popular chocolate brand in Japan. This brand has been there for 50 years. It could have marketed any other country as a brand name. Which country is it? That is the value of Ghana cocoa beans because of its quality. Out of every cocoa bean that goes into Japan, at least 70% of it comes from Ghana because of the quality of our cocoa. And that is why brands like Lotte can thrive. I mean, they had a 50-year anniversary brand for the Ghana bar. There's ice cream. They've got all these things using Ghana cocoa beans. Paul. And I think arguably Lent is my favorite chocolate because it's the largest chocolate brand that uses Ghana and because Ghana cocoa is the best. Then you have Whittaker's, New Zealand. Marketing. You rarely see any other country's name boldly being marketed on chocolates like Ghana. And that is the value we have. But the question is, are we taking advantage of it? No. And that is what needs to change. Now let's come back home. We are in the UK, so we've talked about Africa, Ghana, and now the UK. In my earlier slides, I did mention that the UK is a big chocolate consuming market. To the left side, you've got the largest chocolate exporters globally. And you have Germany, Belgium, Canada, and Poland as top chocolate exporters. When it comes to the importers, you have Mr. Trump, then the UK. So the UK is a big chocolate market. What it means is that you can take advantage of your backward linkage in Ghana. Maybe bring in some cocoa product, not necessarily beans. You can bring in all you need to make chocolate. Cocoa mass, cocoa butter from Ghana, purely available. Milk, sugar, available in the consumer market, and you're good to go. Do you need to set up your own chocolate manufacturing facility? No, we've gone beyond that. Even the chocolate brands don't have chocolate factories now. They leverage on contract manufacturers. You visit a contract manufacturing facility, he does about 10 different chocolate brands. You can similarly approach some of these contract manufacturers. Some have very low MOQs, minimum order quantities, or about 1,000 pieces, 2,000 pieces. But you have to do that legwork. And these are low-hanging fruits that we want to see Ghanaians and Africans in the diaspora taking advantage of. We've been selling cocoa through the UK for decades. But it took a Ghanaian to give us our first lunch in Fortnum and Mason. So it is only Ghanaians who can do that. And that is a challenge to us all. That the trade or business dynamics have changed. It's much easier previously. Market entry restrictions are too high. When it comes to B2C, market entry restrictions are barely non-existent now because of e-commerce marketplaces. So take advantage of some of these things. We want to see the niche, the one that Nakwasi gave me here. So people can be bringing it to the UK and listing them on some of these e-commerce platforms. Do they expect the government to do that again? So sometimes you meet people, they're like, when I go board for CMC, mom for chocolate. Come on. Take advantage of it as a business person. And that is what you can do, because that is what others are doing. And we've showed you what other Ghanaians have done with the Fortnum and Mason chocolate brand and what Bullion is doing. Let's be intentional and take what we've got. Cocoa is a jewel that we have. Let's grab it and run with it. So you see the United Kingdom, big chocolate importers. So you have the market around you. Take advantage of that. That is what this slide is communicating. Paul? So my key asks to you, invest in Ghana and African chocolate making. If you're from Ghana, you always have that back end. You definitely know someone who knows someone who knows someone who is into cocoa or chocolate. Or who can buy chocolate for you from Ghana. You bring it here. I believe Diana might have done a presentation yesterday. You import chocolate into the UK, zero rated, no tax. No tax. What you pay is to pay VAT on it. If you bring in raw cocoa powder, no tax. And you don't pay VAT because it's a raw product. You bring in cocoa butter, cocoa mass, no tax, no VAT. Thanks to the UK-Ghana trade partnership, right? A trade partnership agreement. Let's leverage that. Agua just expired. We don't know whether it's going to be renewed. But the question is, did we benefit from it? East Africans did benefit from it. Ghana did, well, partly. We want to see big benefits. And that is the same thing with the AFC at the ACTA. Nigerians are doing deals with Tanzania to start cargo shipment from Nigeria into Tanzania and back, and Ethiopia, and we are talking about the role of government. All the government to do is to do the skeletal part of it. The fuel to do that is in the hands of the private sector. And that is what we need to do. Then, I did mention leverage private label and contract manufacturing in the UK and Europe. This is the space in which you are. The younger ones who struggle to grab a bite of golden tree, because in the Simbebu. Okay, for those who don't understand tree, they will say that they will break their tooth. Take advantage of contract manufacturers here in the UK. The UK is an amazing chocolate manufacturing has amazing chocolate manufacturing capabilities. Switzerland, Belgium as well. Italy, a lot of chocolate manufacturers have very low MOQs that you can start with. Take advantage of that. Then, if you can't, bring in cocoa brands from Ghana, chocolate brands from Ghana, and market them in the UK. So the point I'm making to you is that there are different pathways for you to go into the chocolate industry. It's not complicated. It is because of lack of information. Thankfully, today you have the information. So the challenge for you is to be intentional, take it, and run with it. As the earlier panelists, very experienced persons mentioned, they are there to support. We are there to support. We had an event in March at the Ghana High Commission, Ghana Cocoa Business Breakfast. Post that event, we had about 6 African businesses coming to our office to ask about how they can do business in cocoa and in chocolate. Surprisingly, 5 of them were from Nigeria. None of them from Ghana yet. I'm waiting. Yeah, let's be assertive. Let's be now. I understand that perfectly, but again, we start from home. Exactly. So let's be intentional. Let us be assertive, and get this right. Paul, just to conclude, as I mentioned, You are the answer to Africa's chocolate industrialization. You need to what? Act now. And when you act now, I come back and say that, thank you so much for listening to me.
Well, thank you so much. I think, please have a seat. Your presentation is so good, you need to be asked some questions. All right, so Ola, please. All right.
Yeah, so actually, I'm going to start with somebody. So you mentioned, firstly, fantastic presentation, and I would like a copy of that. Yeah, I would like a copy of that in a presentation, please. Now, just a little question. You said that, arguably, Linked is your, favorite chocolate, makers or whatever. But out of all of them, Linked did not have Ghana on them. So why would you, I think, well, I'm going to challenge you that you need to talk to them, to then put Ghana, the name of the word Ghana there, so then you can, comfortably say that your favorite. So I'm from West Africa Tourism, and one of our projects that we started some years back is kind of like, halted right now, but it's the cocoa trail in West Africa. Because we know that, you've actually shown us your presentation. West Africa is the, highest, cocoa producers. And there are some, smaller countries as well that are not really big. Even the actual countries are small. Like Sao Tome and Principe, they produce, beautiful, cocoa as well. Well, we need to work. So I'm going to talk to you later. You did say that you are available. So we need to work on that because I think it's a big project. We were approached, by, rest in peace, USAID, some years back, about this project as well. So we were actually doing it together with them. But this is, again, what happens when you rely on, international, whatever. But I think we have more than enough, resources within ourselves to actually make this happen.
Thank you very much. One last one, and then we can release Mr. Fuad. Before
Thank you very much.
We have an Africa Week chocolate that will be given away.
Thank you very much, Fuad. And under the WTO, you are allowed to do white labeling. So we encourage you. You don't need to set up.
Please, if you can explain white labeling.
Okay.
For some of us who.
Yes. Yes. So if you have like a brand, the one I shared with Fuad recently, you have a brand by your name, like I want to do Diana's chocolate. And I don't need to establish a company to get somebody to produce for me. Just like he indicated, you can contract a manufacturing company, and then they will do for you your own brand. And they will do it nicely for you. You market it in your name. You do everything in your name. You just have to have a contract, and the person will be doing it. So those who may be thinking, how do I get money to establish a whole company before I can start? You can start from there, and when you are capable of doing your own establishing your own manufacturing company, you continue with that.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ado. I get a feeling we'll be having a chocolate brand out of this conversation very soon, from the way I see people nodding their heads. Anyway, so one last question, and then we can release them. Okay. Comment.
My parents used to work for many years in Mars, so I grew up around chocolates, pretty poor standard chocolates to be fair. But are you familiar with the idea of choconomics?
What is that? So tell us.
Okay.
Please.
So you should Google it, number one, and then get the book. But choconomics refers to the impact of chocolate during global economic downturns. And this is probably why this is as good a time as any to actually start your own chocolate brand. Because when you have an economic downturn, consumption of chocolate goes through the roof. Google it, choconomics, and there you go. Start your own business.
Why does it go up when things are tough?
Because the impact of chocolate on people's emotions, the need to buy chocolate,
Stress.
it's a comfort. Exactly.
Stress. Okay, okay. Who is stressed here? I mean, we have a lot of chocolate out there. All right, so Fuad wants to comment on that.
I think that's the economics of chocolate. Okay, and something we learned during the COVID. One of the biggest chocolate consumption avenues is, as Madam mentioned, within the tourism industry. Now, during COVID, the tourism industry was sort of shut down. Okay, so no travels, no lodging in hotels. The expectation then was that chocolate consumption was going to collapse. It did initially, but then when sales data started coming out of the US from Germany, we realized that home chocolate consumption surged because people get too depressed at home. They need it as a messiah. And the messiah is not honey, it's chocolate. And that is the case. But at the moment, cocoa prices have gone off the roof. Last year was over $10,000. What is happening is that the demand for chocolate, so Mars bars have reduced in size, what we call now, we call it shrinkflation. Yeah, shrinkflation. They've shrunk the size. Yes, they've shrunk the size of the chocolate bar. Two, if it is a chocolate with a nut in there, they will go for a bigger nut with a smaller chocolate coating. You pay the same price anyway, because these are big businesses that have been there for 200 years. And that is the point that if there was a government representative, or for us or a Nananomu Hanum, one of the challenges we need to push to ourselves. I was invited to do a consulting project in Finland for a chocolate company who is asking the question, the future of cocoa in 2050. I work in Cocoa Board for 20 years. I've never heard anybody asking at the top level, what is the future of our cocoa in 2030? So that is the sort of long-term perspective we need to have. And often it's because the sort of people we put at the helm, they come there within 3-4 years, they're gone. They don't have any interest in driving the future of some of these industries. If it's a private sector, the Mars family has been there for 150 years. They use a lot of Ghana anyway, to be fair with them, because they are the biggest chocolate company globally, not in the US, globally. And they use a lot of Ghana. So that is the dynamics. At the moment, we have a lot of challenges. Prices are higher. Chocolate companies are finding different ways, using a lot of shea butter, using a lot of palm butter instead of cocoa butter, because cocoa butter is very expensive. So they are finding ways to go around it. And you rightly mentioned, this is the time to go into chocolate. There are a lot of low-hanging fruits. Let's take advantage of it, and you have us by your side to walk you through.
Thank you very much. Let's give it up to Fuad Mohammed, Managing Director, Cocoa Processing Company, UK Limited.